Move on to the Chief Financial Officer's report. Scott?
All right, I would like to highlight the financials for the month ending April 30th. So you'll be seeing the April financials. The first report that you see is the monthly report, just outlining more or less individualized items to try to help out with key things that we collect with revenue, and then also what our key expenses are. The second report are the financial statements. This outlines our revenue and expense per fund. So it breaks it down into our operating funds and our non-operating funds based off of what was budgeted and what has come in. The revenue expense report follows that. This report is generated using our Township Treasurer's software. What it shows is what was budgeted and what was expended year to date on that. One of the nice things on there is to see where you're at as far as percentage of budget. So you can look and see, okay, budget was this, we spent this, we're either over or under budget on those particular line items. It does show every item on there that either has a budget or a line item that has been used as an expense account or a revenue account. The next report that follows is the student activity accounts. For the new board members, any account that has a negative ending balance on there, it's actually positive. That is our Skyward system that we use on there. So I know that was kind of tricky getting the handle on that to start the year, reading that compared to what the old program was on there.
Are we going to address the two rules under the policy next month on whether we approved a loan to any of those accounts and whether we're closing out the accounts that have had no activity?
Yes, I'd have to look and see exactly which ones fall under that
Okay.
accounts for inactivity and then the other aspects of it. And then following up is the finance tracking documents for our construction projects from 2015, 16, and 17 for invoices paid through our last board meeting, which was May 9th.
Yeah, we had some questions that were submitted.
To answer the first one, I submitted already.
There was a question in the revenue expense report about the paid services for special education. Have a much better handle on it for next year's budget as far as getting an accurate dollar amount with exactly what our purchase service contract has been negotiated with LADSI, our local area special ed cooperative.
Scott, what page was that on?
Not 100% sure, but I know it's
Probably
function
41.
41, page 41.
Was in the original packet.
It's function 1900. Oh no, that's tuition, sorry.
So while Scott's finding that account so the board can see exactly what was budgeted, what's been realized year to date, and why we're over so much, I believe a board member asked this question at the last meeting, or maybe it was at the end of April, because we were
It's 41.
heading significantly in the red in that account. So we did have some additional special education staffing that needed to be provided after the budget, where some students required one-to-one nursing
Right.
throughout the day. And that turned out to be an expensive, more than what we had thought. So we were going to use a service because it was a flat dollar amount for every day the student, one or two of the students were present. And since we started in the middle of the year, we felt that was easier than having LADSI purchase a nurse and end up, their attendance has been really good and it's costed more than what we were projecting. So some things will be shifted to our purchase service agreement with LADSI to get that under control for next year's budget. We also recognize that in the LADSI agreement, we did not in our budget, or their original billing did not account for one of the employees we purchased for LADSI. So that was a flat dollar amount. And it's an employee we've had in the district for a couple of years. It was just not, they had a shift in their CFO, we had a shift in our CFO, so somewhere between what we agreed to. One of the things about belonging to that cooperative is that we have to let them know what services we think we're going to buy from them, like by February 1st. So we're only a month into our second semester. We haven't even done like course selection, or we haven't even done 8th grade enrollment or transfer enrollment. And so we have to give them an idea of what we're purchasing, because they have their own union. They kind of run as like their own district, even though they're a cooperative that's made up of all these other schools. They have to then figure out how many teachers they're releasing or non-renewing based on RIFs or reduction in force on all these districts purchasing their services. So from where we put in the projection back in February of 16 and where our budget came out at, that's where I think some of the confusion came in, that and then the needs for some of the additional nursing needs. So Scott and myself have met with the CFO to make sure that doesn't happen again. But I hope that helps clarify a little bit. Were you able to find the
Yes,
page?
it is on page 41 under the very first line item.
Board Book 41 or?
Yes, Board
okay.
Book 41, and it's the 104120, 3030, 129 under paid service.
So we budgeted 3 1/4 and we're already at 532.
Yes.
One other question I had asked on, I think it's on page 28, because the additions were after that. Most of the, I think if not all the other interest on investments, the realized was greater than the budget. Why was this one less?
Yeah, I was unable to get an exact handle on it,
Okay.
other than,
Because don't we put all the money in the same fund at the treasurer and they
but
allocate
it's-
the interest to us?
yes.
So
but-
the relative difference should be, this amount should be the same on all the funds, right?
I'll have to pull from the
Okay.
last
Could you
board
check
meeting
that one then?
the report from the treasurer's office,
Okay.
just to verify that. And I can update too with if there is any additional interest that is earned
Okay.
since that was last reported.
Report on that in June, okay, Scott?
Okay. And there was no further questions submitted.
The details, and so for the new board members, one thing, as you get more comfortable with these reports, the summary report that Scott provides with the color-coded bar graph is kind of like your Friday update on financials. So he'll give you a summary of where the money's come in for that month, where it went out. The next 2 or 3 general pages where it just lists the beginning balance and revenues expenditure by fund. I mean, obviously, education's our biggest fund that's used the most, right?
Yes.
And then a majority of the reports are just the details behind it by the specific line items. So as you're reviewing these packets, you should always look at the bills and look at the specific line items, or just see if something catches your attention. But as long as you check on a monthly basis the summary pages, it should keep you up to speed of where we're at expenditure and revenue-wise, and give you an idea how close we are coming in at budget.
Is that it, Scott?
Yes.
Okay. It's time for visitors' comments. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to have comments?